Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Snowbeck. Today we are going to start Unit 2, and we are going to do Unit 2, Lesson 1. The first thing I want to talk about today is slope-intercept form. First of all, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This might look kind of familiar, and when do we use it? We use it when we want to write the equation for a line or graph a line. So I'll just write that down. Write an equation for a line or graph a line. That's when we would use the slope-intercept form. And you might be looking at this y equals mx plus b and trying to remember, what does the m mean? Well, m, remember, is the slope of the line, and b is the y-intercept of the line. And you might be thinking, what's a y-intercept? Well, remember, if you have a graph, the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So remember, this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, so this spot right here would be the y-intercept. So the point where a line crosses the y-axis. So here's example number 1. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And it says graph the line based on the given information. Well, when I look at this equation, I want to try to figure out the m and the b. Remember, the equation goes y equals mx plus b. So the m is 1/2, that's the slope, and the b is the 3, that's the y-intercept. To graph a line like this, it's really pretty quick. The b is 3, so that's where the line will cross the y-axis. So I go up 1, 2, 3, and I put a dot. There's my y-intercept at 3. Then from that dot, I do my slope. Remember, slope is rise over run. And so I'm going to rise 1, and then I'm going to go right 2. So from our dot that we already have there, I'm going to go up 1, and I'm going to go over 1, 2, and I'm going to put a dot. Then I can do it again if I want. Up 1, over 2, put a dot. Connect them, and there it is. That's your line of y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So will you please take a minute, pause the video, and try to figure out what is the m and what is the b? If you said m is 6 and b is -3, you are correct. So now we're going to try to graph this line. Remember, you start with the b. So you start by putting a dot or a point on the y-axis at -3, at the y-intercept. There it is. It should be down 3. Now from that dot, I'm going to count my slope. Now 6 is really the same as 6 over 1. So that means we're going to rise 6 and we're going to go right 1. So we're going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to run 1 and put a dot. And if I want, I could do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And then I can connect them. And that is the graph of my line, y equals 6x minus 3. Okay, please try this one. See if you can graph the line that has a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of 6, and also write the equation for the line. So go ahead, pause the video, see if you can do this. If you said y equals 1/4 x plus 6, you are correct. That is the equation for the line. When you graph this, you would put a dot at 6, so I have to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I put a dot right here, and then from that dot, I rise 1. So think about rise over run. I'm going to go up 1 and right 4. So up 1 and then right 1, 2, 3, 4. Put another dot. If I want to do it again, I can. And there is the graph of the line. Number 4, both 4, 9 and negative 2, 0 are on a line. Write the equation for the line and graph it. So there's a couple ways to do this, but one thing that I want to teach you guys is how to find the slope of a line if you're given 2 points. So if you're given 2 points, you can find the slope by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So think about this being like your first x and your first y and your second x and your second y, and plugging them into the equation. And so, for instance, you're going to have 0 minus 9, your first or your second y minus your first y. See that? And then on the bottom, you're going to have your x's. So negative 2 minus 4. This ends up being negative 9 over negative 6, which 2 negatives make a positive. And then think, 3 goes into there 3 times and 3 goes into there 2 times. The slope is 3 halves. So y equals 3 over 2x plus b. Aha, we have our slope. Now, to find the y-intercept, what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of these points. I'm going to pick this one because it's just smaller numbers. And I'm going to plug it in for my x and my y. Now notice the y is 0, so I go 0 equals 3 over 2. And then for x, I plug in negative 2 plus b. Okay, so the 2 and the negative 2 can kind of cancel out. The negative part has to stay there. But we'll have 0 equals negative 3 plus b. Follow that. The negative has to stay there. Add 3 to the other side, and you get 3 equals b. Haha. Now we have our slope, and we have our y-intercept. So our final equation is y equals, use your slope from up here, so 3 halves, x, and use your b, so plus 3. And there it is. So now we need to graph this one. So think about where your first point goes. Your first point goes at the y-intercept, and the y-intercept is 3. So we're going to go up 3, and we're going to put a dot on the y-axis. And then from that dot, you're going to do your slope, which is 3 over 2. So you're going to go up 3, right 2. Up 3, right 2, put a new dot. Connect, and voila, you have your graph. Let's try that same thing again in number 5. So it says both negative 3, negative 7, and negative 1, 3 are on a line. Write the equation for the line and graph it. Okay, let's try to find the slope. Let's try to find the m. So remember, to find slope, we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here's my first x and my first y. Here's my second x and my second y. And now I plug stuff in. So find your y2. That should be a 3. And find your y1. So it's minus negative 7. Then find your x2. That's negative 1. And then minus negative 3. Lots of minuses here. So be careful with your adding and subtracting. When you have 2 negatives, it becomes a positive. So let's see, I think we end up with 10 over 2. You can do the math on that. Use your calculator. Negative 1 plus 3, I think you get 2. This reduces to 5, and 5 will be our slope. So we know our equation is going to be y equals 5x plus b. Now we have to find the b. So remember, what you do is you pick one of the points from up above. I'm going to pick this one because it's got smaller numbers. But you can pick either point. So you're going to plug in the 3 for the y. So 3 equals 5 times negative 1 plus b. And we're going to try to solve this for b. So we have 3 equals negative 5 plus b. Add your 5 to the other side. And 8 equals b. Haha. We have our m, we have our b. We can write the equation for the line. Y equals, the slope is 5x plus 8. There we have it, you guys. And now we can graph it. So remember, your first dot goes at the y-intercept, which is 8. So go ahead and put a point at 8. And from that point, you're going to have a slope of 5. Now remember, a slope of 5 is the same as 5 over 1. So you have to go up 5 and over 1. It goes off the graph. And so another thing you could do is just go in reverse. You could go down 5 and back 1. And that should also be on the graph. Connect your lines or connect your dots, and there you have it. Okay, last one, number 6. Write the equation for the line and graph it. So we are trying to write an equation in y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. Looks like we already have the slope, which is our m, and we already have our y-intercept, which is the b. I think we're ready to plug in. So it's y equals 0x minus 3. Do I really need the 0x? 0 times anything would be 0, and I think it would go away, and I would just have y equals negative 3. Okay, so let's see if we can graph this. The y-intercept, or the b, is at negative 3. So I go on the y-axis and I go down 3. So here it is. There's my first spot. Now the slope is 0, which means I go up 0 and over 0. So what's going to happen is this is going to end up being a horizontal line. So it has a slope of 0. All horizontal lines have slope 0. Pretty cool. So that's something to remember. But the final equation, as far as our answer goes, is just y equals negative 3. And then the graph looks like that horizontal line that goes through the y-intercept at negative 3. Okay, that's it, everybody. So will you please go and find Unit 2, Practice 1. Give it a try. When you're done, drop it to me in Schoology. Have a great day. Bye-bye.